Welcome, everybody, to your NXT Deadline 2024 preview and predictions. 5 matches, as is the usual under the Triple H Shawn Michaels regime, but this card's got some spice to it. It's got some meat on the bones, man. I'm liking this card a little bit. So we've got both Iron Survivor matches on this card, one of which could get significantly more interesting given that Eddie Thorpe was laid out and assaulted at the literal very end of NXT this week. It was the last thing that they showed before going off the air. The other Iron Survivor challenge is already just stacked. Literally, any of those women could win, and I don't think anyone would be upset by it at all. The non-title match on this card, which is going to end up being the match that we talk about first, is Lola Vice versus Jada Parker, NXT Underground. And I know Lola Vice kind of considers that to be her match, and it could still be. It could still be. I'm not going to write off the possibility that she could still win the match. I really hope she doesn't, but Jada Parker means business, y'all. Jada Parker is not in any kind of mood to take anyone's shit, and I really hope that she kind of shows Lola that that NXT Underground shit ain't just for her. But then the other two matches are title matches. We've got the NXT Tag Titles and the NXT Men's World Championship on the line, with Frazier and Axiom defending, or Fraxium, if you will, defending against the No Quarter Catch Crew tag team of Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. John and I will be reacting to that because of No Quarter Catch Crew. We love No Quarter Catch Crew, and we're hoping that it's a tag title change. I'm not betting on it. We'll count on, we'll do our preview predictions and give official predictions, but I don't know. Maybe we'll handicap that match later on. And then Trick against Ridge. We are not going to be reacting to that. We will preview and predict it still here, but really, I think that's one of those matches where we don't really want to watch the match. We just want to know the result, and we're begging NXT not to change titles on that. But John, if you're ready to get into this, we can, my friend.
I mean, you know what I like to do on these? I like to put a number value and kind of give preemptive remarks myself. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we were kind of talking about this show earlier because we are hashing out if we were going to do this. And I'll be perfectly honest, too. I forgot NXT Underground was happening. Which that's not a diss. Like, it was just literally just a mental fart, which it's funny because Jada across television this week, and that includes what KO did tonight, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Jada had my favorite segments by far this week, building up this matchup between her matchup, how she was screwed out of that match, and then the promo she did afterwards.
Yeah.
Dude, it's not often because actually one of the few places that I show humility, I feel like, is this podcast when I say I'm wrong more often than I'm right. But I have never felt more vindicated than when I said this woman had a Stone Cold Steve Austin like aura than every time she gets a microphone. Every time she gets a microphone, I feel vindicated in that. So actually, remembering that, I know I told you originally because of No Quarter Catch Crew, who I adore. I am so happy for Ren to get this opportunity. We'll talk a bit more about her later. I had given it a 7 out of 10 on the hype scale, but I think honestly, Jada and Lola's decent too, and this is her matchup. That match having the kind of build that it does, I think it actually puts me at a solid 8 out of 10. So I'm curious how you feel about this show when you look at everything.
If nothing interesting comes of the Eddie attack on Tuesday, and Eddie is just like an underdog story to build up to Eddie being in the match and like being an underdog in the match and maybe even winning it, I am also at an 8. But bro, I'm telling you right now, if they use Eddie getting taken out on Tuesday as a way to kind of find a way to fit Obafemi into that match, I'm at a 9.5. That is how much of a difference Obafemi's existence on this card means to me.
I want you to understand that I agree with you. I'm just not factoring that in just because I'm still kind of tempering my expectations, which I'm sure you understand given the company we're dealing with. So I
Yes.
agree, but I'm not going for once. I'm not going there. For once,
Yeah.
I'm staying behind, and I'm
Yeah.
like, we'll see.
And I'll even
We'll
say
see.
too, like the 0.5 that I'm deducting that keeps it from being a 10 is literally just the match quality factor of Trick Ridge.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like
I'm
the
yeah.
scare factor, like I'm afraid that they're gonna pull the trigger on putting the title on Ridge. Like that terrifies me.
We'll get to that because I don't disagree, but yeah, again, we'll get to that. So what match do you want to talk about first, bud?
Lola Jada, we got to. It's the only non-title, non-Iron Survivor match. The only match on the entire show that doesn't have any kind of implications on any championships, really.
Okay, I'm gonna take the lead because I really, really, really don't want to be the bad guy, but I also have to be honest. I do think Lola's winning this here. But
Unfortunately, I do think so too because Jada has been such fire on the build-up. They got to give Lola something.
yeah, I mean, here's the thing, bro. Jada won the street fight, which I think we can consider canonically in NXT as her match.
Yeah,
And now we're in Lola's match. Not to mention, I know the rule doesn't really work, right? You look bad on TV, so you win at the PLE. But I mean, she did knock Lola out on Tuesday too. It'd be
not to
one thing
mention
if,
the brick
yeah,
that was in the street fight, but still the brick.
yeah, yeah. So I'm just thinking it goes to Lola, which is a shame because I don't hate Lola, but I'm at the point where like if we're just gonna build Jada up to knock her back down, and I got it with Roxanne. You know, I'm a big Roxanne fan, and we'll be talking about her later. But like if you're gonna keep pushing her back down and not having her win a feud, call her up in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, is she the most polished in ring? No, but her talking has her more than ready for the main roster to me. She would turn heads in that fucking division on the stick alone.
I feel like
Um,
excluding the obvious main event scene like Roxanne, Zaria, Julia, Stephanie, I really do feel like specifically Jada Parker and Sol Ruka are 100% main roster ready. Just call them up, slap them in anywhere you want in the women's division on either show, and they will get over on their own, and they will basically be in that situation where like WWE's not quite ready to push them, but they're so over that they can't really do anything about it
yeah,
because they're both
yeah,
that good. Like Sol
absolutely.
Ruka is Tiffany Stratton plus. Sol Ruka is Tiffany Stratton without the plastic personality. Sol Ruka is Tiffany Stratton if she was like the girl next door who went surfing on the weekends.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And Jada is like you said, she's just fucking stone cold.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when there is one promo that I go back and I listen to it, and really, literally a promo because it's like part of an ad where Austin is building up to a Survivor Series '97 matchup with Brett, which was a really technically wrestled and good match. And part of me even prefers it to their iconic WrestleMania match, honestly. But he's saying like, "Oh, Brett, you lost to Shawn Michaels and you quit." And he's just talking all this shit on Brett and Brett, when you get beat, the whole world will know at least you got beat by a real man. Like, I feel like Jada has that similar angry energy. Like, I almost want it, like, honestly, to be a storyline on the main roster where, like, kind of what they were doing with Braun in the beginning, where it was seeming like he was getting overlooked for opportunities. I would want that to be what they do with Jada and kayfabe, and then she uses social media to kind of cut her own promos on the company, similar to an late '90s Stone Cold. Like, I'm telling you, man, there is something here with her. And it's just a shame that I don't think she's going to win this match. But maybe, to continue the Stone Cold parallel, maybe this will be a kind of a WrestleMania 13 moment for Jada Parker. We don't know. I mean, this could be the match that really catapults her into being completely a babyface because you can tell this crowd's already starting to love her. I know you popped for the footage that Sean shared with the crowd was like, Jada, don't play that shit. Jada, don't play that shit. And now,
Yeah.
like, she's getting her own chance now. Like, she's on the cusp of something really great, man. And you don't necessarily have to win a match to attain that, as again, Stone Cold proves. But I just want her to have that match and then go to the fucking stratosphere. I really think she's something special. But to circle back and to return to Earth, I do think Lola is winning, but I think ultimately the big winner will be Jada Parker because her career is going to be fucking dynamite.
Yep.
So, all right. You said you agree. If you have any other thoughts, we can move on
Yeah,
to our
no,
next matchup.
unfortunately, I do have to make the same prediction as far as just, yeah, I do think that they're going to have Lola win here. If Jada does win, oh my God, you and I are both going to pop huge. It's going to be just stratosphere because that feels like they're setting her up to challenge for one of the main titles, whether it's,
Yeah.
North American or World. I feel like just because she's already had a shot at Roxanne, it would probably be at Fallon, if I had to guess. Um, but yeah, honestly, Lola winning wouldn't even really maybe necessarily be the worst thing because maybe it gets Jada that much closer to being called up, and that's really what I want for her. So
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
let's get into the tag titles. Let's get into the tag titles. We'll save Iron Survivor for last if that's cool with you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'd like to, if we're on the same page, I'd like to talk about women's Iron Survivor last because that's the match I'm most
Definitely.
looking forward to.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Then we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, I I love this combo. I have been so excited to see Tavion let loose. I know you have too. Uh this is the one match I think where I'm especially gonna let my fan flag fly. NQCC all the way. Let's get a title change. I'm done with the dweebs. I'm done with them teasing tension. I think it's time to take the next logical step. Have
Dude,
them lose the titles. Yeah.
this feels to me almost like when they had Blurfy just kind of randomly win the tag titles at one time. I don't remember who they even beat, but they had them. I think that might have been the Ascension that they beat actually.
Wasn't it
Uh,
Lucha Dragons like Sin
you
Cara
know
and
what? I
Kalisto?
think you're right. It was the Lucha Dragons. Yeah, it just felt so out of the blue though that they had them beat them, and it was like, oh my god, these guys winning the titles feels like they just kind of slapped two randos together and gave them the tag titles. And but then like the work rate though, and that's what this is going to end up being because these guys, especially Tavion, the dude is about to have a breakout moment on this show and every tag title defense afterwards if they do retain or if they do win the titles. And I'm hoping you're right. And I am going to go in with you on that pick. But man, if they miss out on this opportunity, it really just feels like they just don't know what to do with the tag division, and they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. These guys really like being the tag team champions, so fuck it, we'll just let them have them.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I will tell you this about Tavion, and again, I love every member of NQCC. I'm not trying to have sour grapes. I was shocked that I felt like he got kind of done dirty a little bit in the Battle Royal. But you know what? In hindsight, I'm glad Miles was able to have a moment like that because Miles, I think, has been very under the radar in the group. So in my mind, if I'm booking this, and especially if I'm booking this with a NQCC victory in mind, which obviously I am, it's our podcast, and I'm a huge NQCC fan. You give Miles the battle royal, but then you give Tavion the title match. As far as like who gets to shine here, because this dude is a fucking tank.
Yeah,
I love his look. I've loved him like from his debut, but we haven't really been able to like really sit with him and study him. I feel like that's about to change. Again, when you look at the champions, Axiom and Frazier, they've been having tension. And I think because I could see this opening the show. And I could see Frazier being so self-absorbed and so distracted by the fact, well, I've got men's Iron Survivor later, which we know Axiom isn't a part of, that, Frazier could cost them that match. And I'll tell you something else, man. It wouldn't necessarily surprise me either to get a little bit out of myself if Axiom felt a certain way about that and he played a role later in the men's Iron Survivor at Nathan's expense. Like, I feel like the team is imploding on this show.
yeah.
And then they're going to have
I,
a
I
match,
I do
hopefully, on
hope
New
you're
Year's
right.
Eve.
I do hope you're right
Yeah.
because there's got to be at least some jealousy there with Frazier qualifying and Axiom not.
Yeah, and dude, like again, I'm not even trying to complain, even though I'm not a big fan of them or their story, but like they've had the miscues spread out over a couple months.
Yeah,
It's always been like a will they, won't they thing, and then they always manage to retain. But this feels different. And I'm not just saying that because it's against people that I like. Like, genuinely, when you look at the narrative, again, like you just said, one guy qualifies for a singles title opportunity, the other one doesn't. And the one guy's really a dick about it. And the other one, well, he veils face, so you don't know how he feels about it, but I'm guessing not good.
yeah.
So I'm really hoping, man, because NQCC, I know people were worried about the group, first when, Damon Kemp got the accident, and before him, fucking, I'm Drew Gulak, when he,
Dude,
had
I
his
I will
controversy.
say I am a little bit like miffed about the Damon Kemp thing. I really don't understand why they released him. Like he was a really good hand. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not upset that Tavion is in the group instead of him. Or really, I shouldn't say instead of. I'm not upset that Tavion's in the group. I'm just upset that it is instead of Damon, instead of rather being as well as Damon.
Oh, I agree with you because I mean he really did prove to be better than his brother,
At
Gable
least in terms
Stevenson.
of picking up on this, wrestling, pro wrestling.
Yeah, he was a much quicker study, relative again to his brother.
Yeah,
So I mean, I agree with you, but all of this to say that through everything that NQCC has been through, they are now in a rhythm, and I love them so much.
yeah,
And Ren works so well, and Charlie's a different kind of faction leader because like he's not a hard ass, and he's definitely got that quality of his dad where he can laugh at himself, but he stands on business when he needs to defend that Heritage Cup. And now you've got these guys who, again, can also have a laugh, but I'm ready to see those real graps from both of them come tomorrow. So, yeah, I definitely get anybody's trepidation about picking them to win because they've seemed like, and by they I mean NXT in this case, they've seemed like they're going to pull the trigger on the implosion for a while now, only for the dweebs to retain. But fuck that, I'm going all in. NQCC baby, new tag team champions.
Absolutely. Love that. And the only other title match on this show that's not Iron Survivor related is Trick Ridge. And man, I'm scared. I'm scared that they're going to shove their heads up their asses all the way and slap this title on Ridge and just continue fucking with Trick.
And I'm gonna be that guy again where it seems like, am I trying to be a dick? But unironically, no, you should be scared. Because I was even thinking about it today when you kind of told me, like, we kind of worked it out last minute, like, oh, do you want to do this? Because I didn't think we were gonna do this. And so I really started thinking about this card more thoughtfully when I knew, like, okay, we're gonna preview and predict this. Trick has never had a long title reign. Because even his North American title reign was short as fuck. I don't know what it is with Trick and
I
championships, but he
forgot that Trick was ever even a North American champion, to be honest with
thank you for proving my point. So I don't know what it is with Trick and championships, but like WWE is like, nah, like you'll get together for a hug and that's it. Um, so I'll tell you, if they do this with Trick now,
you. Yep.
he better be getting called the fuck up because I'm not here for him to get two lukewarm NXT World Title reigns only to do nothing. That being said, against my own kind of logic here, why I'm reaffirming to you why you should be scared, I will go Trick retaining because this just seems like the quintessential baby face has the deck stacked against them, like against all odds, and they overcome anyway. I still feel like he's got either Oba waiting for him or maybe Javon at Stand and Deliver. And we also have to think about, whoever wins men's Iron Survivor is going to get a shot at New Year's Evil. So is it better for that person that we think is going to win Iron Survivor to face Ridge or to face Trick? And I guess that depends in large part if we're thinking a face
Well,
or a
that's
heel is going to win.
you know what though, that kind of brings the Eddie injury into light because I mean, fuck, man, can you imagine if Trick Ridge opens the show instead of closing it because of Iron Survivor, and then Iron Survivor is the last match on the show. And imagine if, in fact, Ridge does get the win, and then Ava is like in her office being like, we need to find somebody to replace Eddie, and who were to show up but fucking Andre Chase.
Oh, that would be quite a curveball because
That's what I'm
I've had
saying
my
though,
heart on
is
Oba.
that the Eddie situation really opens things up to be it could go in any direction. I'm rooting for it to go in the Obafemi direction and for him to win and then just immediately like steamroll Trick at New Year's Evil. That's my obvious pick, but like I know very well that like if we were handicapping this, and I know that's why I kind of brought up handicapping earlier, the odds of the winner of Iron Survivor being Obafemi are less than 1% because he's not even supposed to be in the match. And
Yeah,
he hasn't been on TV in over a month.
where is he, dude? I
Dude,
haven't heard shit.
we need like what were those old like camera things where it was like where is so and so? We need one of those for Oba.
Yes, because dude, like again, I don't want to be that guy, but knowing that we were doing this commentary, I'm just going to put everything on the table now that I've been thinking. He's either injured or I hope something didn't come out about him, bro. Because I always worry about that in this day and age with people. I'm like, you
I'm not
wouldn't
worried
fuck
about that
this
with him
up, would you?
honestly.
Beg pardon?
I'm not worried about that with him honestly cuz like if anything would have come out about him, either he got brushed under the rug real fucking quick, or I mean, I just can't imagine. And it's not like, oh, I can't imagine that Oba would ever do anything. No, like it's not anything like that. It's more just like we would have fucking heard about it. We would have known.
Yeah, with how
The internet
wrestling,
finds this
yeah,
shit out before WWE finds out.
that is true. It's just always something that's going to enter the back of my mind with the climate that we're in. So I can't help but like broach
Yeah, I
that
mean, yeah,
subject.
no doubt that's reasonable, and I get you. I'm just saying though, like if some vile shit came out about Oba that like he's said or done some awful things in his past, we would have known long before he got taken off TV. And
Yeah.
frankly, given the WWE's history, we might have known a long time ago, and they might still have never taken him off TV.
Yeah.
Finn, or not Finn, JD is a great example of this.
Yeah. I mean, he's a champion right now. So you know.
Yeah,
But then again, I mean, that's what the climate's teaching us: is do horrible things, get rewarded. So who
yeah.
even knows? But yeah, that's not to say anything against Oba. Again, I'm just, where are you, my
I
dude?
am,
Because we
yeah,
need
like
you.
we just need an answer. We just need an answer because the longer that this goes on with him not being around and no answers, shit like what you just did happens where our minds will just start running and coming up with the worst possible answers.
And I will say too, if this is all angle based, because I wanted to say too about the tag battle royal, while we're kind of talking about miscellaneous stuff that still ties to Deadline, Tyson and Tyreek got a little fleshed out because after that one elimination, you noticed, I believe, I don't know if it was Tyson or Tyreek. I still got to work on that. And it would help a lot if they were on TV fucking regularly. One of them held the rope to eliminate one member of Hank and Tank.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? A TNT versus Hank and Tank feud I can live with as long as TNT come out on top of it. I can't fucking stand specifically Tank Ledger. Hank Walker seems fine. Hank Walker seems like a chill dude. He might even be a good prospect. I'll tell you when he goes singles. But as of right now, I can't stand the team because I can't stand Tank.
Yeah, and for me, I just think about, because remember, just to tie everything together to show people that there is a point here. Nikita Lyons was like, "Oh, you got to take what you want, you got to do what you want," and then of course she attacked Adriana Rizzo, which Oba thanked for because he was in that view with Tony D. So I wonder if that Oba faction could maybe happen. But then again, Nikita's been kind of adrift doing her own thing, which I'm not complaining about, by the way.
Right?
But Tyson and Tyreek now kind of showing, and again, particularly one member of the team showing more of that fire, and maybe it'll even circle back to, Nikita was right, and then maybe they all come together, or maybe Oba's just like, you know what? Why the fuck am I wasting time trifling on this shit? I deserve to be world champion. And to which I'd reply, duh. And he just does what the fuck he wants. So I don't know. And then you bringing up Andre Chase, we know a voice called out to him, "Hey, Mr. Chase." I gotta tell you, I studied that audio for 10 minutes. My first thought was, did they bring Bodie Hayward back? They did not. I listened to Bodie's voice very carefully and compared it to that voice. They don't match up to me at all. So I don't know. What's even more concerning to me is we have gotten no follow up with Thea Hale, Duke, and the other one. So that's also something that's happening. So yeah, there are a lot of moving parts right now. There are a lot of moving parts right now. And to bring it all back to Trick and Ridge, which we talked about originally, and I cannot believe I remember that because normally when I go on a tangent this long, I forget things. Um, Trick has a precedent for very short title reigns, but I don't think this is the time yet. I'm not even going to think about him losing the title until Stand and Deliver personally.
You know,
So I'm going to
I
go
will
Trick
say
retaining.
I do think that Trick does kind of tend to get sort of like almost like John Cena booking in NXT, where like if he does lose, it's not because he actually lost, like it's a total coincidence. And I don't expect anything to come up here that might cause him to lose coincidentally, unless Andre Chase does show up and tries to help Trick retain, but ends up fucking him over.
Yeah.
God, no, they wouldn't do that, right?
I mean,
Fuck. God damn it. Why does my
I don't
mind
know,
do
man.
this to me, John? Why does my mind do this to me?
Bro, my mind practically had me slandering our god king Oba. Mine's fucking suck, bro.
Why would you do
Like,
that? What?
well, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, minds are fucked, bro. You can't trust them. And if you think you can trust your own mind, you're a fucking mark. So that's pretty much my passionate opinion on the situation.
Well, okay then.
Yeah, good luck getting mentally healthy now, jackass.
Oh my god, listen to me.
Anyway, what are you locking in, bro? Just put a definitive point on it for this title match.
Trick to retain.
Excellent. All right, let's move on.
All right. Let's talk about men's Iron Survivor. We were already kind of touching on it in our last conversation anyway, so it's pretty easy to just get right into it.
Do you because I know sometimes we can be petty with one another and kind of split hairs. Are you going to split hairs with me if I say whoever takes Eddie Thorpe's place to win, regardless of who it is?
No.
Just like Eddie Thorpe replacement for the win, or do I have to be really
No, no,
specific?
no. I mean, it would be, I would prefer it if you would name a name, but I'm not going to be upset if you just say that.
Then, well, look, I will indulge you since you were gracious enough to just at least give me the wide berth to begin with. I will say Eddie Thorpe replacement to win, and I'm going to say Oba because here's the thing: Andre Chase doing it, that's not in his character. Although I gotta say this just because Sean was kind of on about it, and I love Sean so much. I do kind of hope that this was bloodline related. Because the more people talked about it in our Discord, I'm like, yo, I was already starting to fuck with Solo's bloodline, but how fucking dope would that be if he was like, no, I gotta be a real tribal chief, and that means we take care of our own, all of our own, and then just fucking got Eddie Thorpe's ass.
Oh,
So
because
I
of
am hoping
Ava. Okay.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna say Eddie Thorpe replacement, and I'll go one step further. And I will say I do think Oba is gonna replace him. But I will say too, just to get this off my chest, and then I'm gonna hand the ball to you because I'm really curious where your mind's at. I am worried about this Eddie Thorpe angle, man. I feel like they're pushing him for something big. I like you know that I've been saying over and over, and I can hold myself accountable for this. Oh, it's gonna be Oba at Stand and Deliver, or it's gonna be Javon at Stand and Deliver. Like those are the two names I've been really looking at. I am low key starting to consider Eddie a little bit because they're doing this kind of like this disgruntled, feeling
I'm not sighing at
disenfranchised
you,
side of
by
the
the way.
company.
I don't want you to misinterpret that sigh. The sigh is more like just because I do see the points that you're making, and I do see like what you're laying out, and I just hate that you're right. I hate that they are really pushing this dude and giving him this much TV time and making him seem like a bigger deal than anyone should make him seem like.
And then here's a question I have for you. Actually, this is kind of unfair to do to you because I want you to be able to talk about the match first and give your prediction. But if you remember the segment where he goes in the office and he's like, "Oh, of course, she's with her champion. Will you tell her after deadline, I'm going to be the Iron Survivor for me and my people, and then I'm going to go on and be the world champion," or whatever the fuck he said? Because, again, he's on this disenfranchised, disgruntled thing. He leaves, and then somebody comes into the view that we can't see, but that Stevie and Robert react to, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so who the fuck was that? Like, what are we dealing with here? And like, was it intentionally following Thorpe? You get what I'm
It's
saying?
starting to
Like,
feel like maybe NXT relies a little too heavily on weekly mysteries. Like, just give us fucking answers. Like, if you want us to watch your show, make your show so good that we can't not tune in every week rather than relying on us being like, oh my God, I have to tune in next week to find out who did this or who saw that or who these people were talking to or who said that thing. No, fuck you. Just give us a good product and we'll fucking watch.
and fuck you was prejudice. God, I can literally hear you saying that to the television. Just show me, god damn it.
I
Fuck.
hate that. Like, I it's literally just like, oh, it's a crutch. That's what it is. It's a fucking crutch. It is a crutch that they're using to try and make sure that people are tuning into their shit because they don't have the confidence in their product to just have their product stand on its own feet.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Um, I don't disagree. So now to get to the actual matchup, as I promised you, I would give you the space to talk about. How are you feeling about it? I know you saw on Discord kind of sucks ass. I don't know if this like mystery that we
Well,
were just complaining about, if it enlivens it for you a bit, and ultimately
it
who you're
does.
picking
I
to
mean,
win.
it sucks ass in this. Well, it sucked ass when Eddie Thorpe was in it because at that point, three of the five members of the match sucked ass because it's Eddie Thorpe, Ethan Page, and Fraser. So like they all suck ass. And then you
Yeah,
got Javon and Wes, and I like both of them, but I feel like really only one of them actually has a shot at winning because I'm under the assumption that Trick is retaining the world title and he is the top babyface in the company or in the brand, I should say, in NXT in the promotion. So they're not going to have a babyface win the Iron Survivor and then do a babyface versus babyface match for the title. That's not their style usually. So they're probably going to have a heel win the Iron Survivor. They've done Ethan versus Trick to fucking death. I don't see them doing that again. They're not going to have
yeah.
Fraser do it unless he betrays Axiom and they turn him heel off of that and then have him win Iron Survivor and have single success off of that. I don't expect them to do that. Although it would be fitting because he is the dickhead of the two of them.
Yes.
And again, they just had Thorpe get taken out. So I think whoever replaces Thorpe is, if it's Oba, the most likely to win. If it's anyone else, the second most likely to win. Because if it's not Oba, I just expect Wesley to win.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's
God.
that's kind of my hierarchy. That's kind of like my like complex prediction is if Oba is in the match, he's winning it. Otherwise, I have Wesley winning it.
Which it's funny because like in that whole Philly show in at the ECW arena, like Javon beat Wes. Like I just feel like right now, to me in kayfabe, Javon is higher up in the pecking order than Wes is.
You know what though,
But like
dude? Here's the thing. Just because Javon has wins over West doesn't necessarily mean that NXT wants you to see Javon as being higher on the card than him.
that is fair. That is fair.
And they
Yeah, I'm not
could
gonna waste my
literally
time.
use Iron Survivor as a way to be like, hey, y'all, Wes Lee is a main eventer. You just haven't been booking him like that for the last few months.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair. That's definitely fair. Um, so yeah, I'm going with replacement, Thorpe replacement, i.e. Oba was who I picked, and then you kind of made the qualifier like you'll go the way too, but you know, if it's not Oba specifically, you're just going Wes.
Yes.
So
Yep.
okay. All right. I guess it's
100%.
time for Women Iron Survivor. So
Yeah, buddy. And we have just such a stacked field here. We've got all three of the big name free agent newcomers: Julia, Zaria, Stephanie Vaquer, as well as Sol Ruka, who was the first one to qualify and kind of like the forgotten woman in this match because she hasn't really been around as much, and Ren Sinclair, who won the last chance match to get in here, thanks entirely to Lola Vice. Literally knocked her out, and she passed out on top of a pin to pin. I think it was Cora Jade that she
it
pinned.
was Cora Jade,
Yeah.
yes.
So like, thank you, Lola, for accidentally helping Ren win that match. Still hope
Yes.
Jada beats your ass.
Yes.
but this match is just fucking incredible. This is a definite match of the year candidate. It is a effectively these Iron Survivor matches are effectively gauntlet matches, right? Where like you have two women start and then each new person enters after a certain like staggered amount of time.
Yeah, it should be like 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
then
But
if
it's
you get
also
yeah.
like scorekeepers, like you get a point for each pinfall or submission or whatever kind of fall you get. And whoever has the most falls at the end of what is it, 30 minutes?
25 minutes.
25?
Yes.
To whoever has the most falls at the end of 25 minutes then wins the match.
Yes, and remember, if you get pinned, I think you spend
You
like
go to
what
the
is it,
penalty
2 minutes in like a
box.
penalty box?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, like 2 minutes or maybe less time than that, but there is a penalty
Can
box.
you
So
can you get disqualified and just go to the penalty box then for that too?
yes, yes, you can. I believe that is the case. Yes.
Okay.
I actually want you to talk about this first if you wouldn't mind, because I do have more to say, but I feel like I've talked so much as premium prediction, so I'd like you to go first.
Okay. Well, this is a really interesting match because it feels like what they really want you to do is just completely count out Ren Sinclair entirely because she got in kind of accidentally. She lost her qualifying match. I believe that was against Zaria or was that Steph?
Um,
It was Zaria because Steph was Jada,
yes, yes.
right? Yeah, because Julia's qualifier was against Kalani, so it was Zaria that Ren lost to. Um, they really want you to just completely count Ren out. And then they kind of want you to count Soul out a little bit because they really want you focused on like the big three new signings: Steph, Zaria, and Julia. And out of those three, Julia has already gotten her shot. Has Steph gotten a shot at Roxanne? She hasn't, right?
She hasn't. She just pinned her in that tag match, but she has not
But
gotten a title shot
I
yet.
think Zaria has also pinned Roxanne in the 5-1-5 tag match that main evented NXT a few weeks ago.
Yes, yes, she did.
So Stephanie and Zaria have both pinned Roxanne already. Julia already had her shot. I don't think she's going to win this. I think Julia is unironically the least likely to win this match, straight up.
I agree, but again, I'm gonna give my full thoughts after you're done.
I think that Sol Ruka is the next least likely to win this match because I think that she's kind of like the almost like the Javon Evans of this match, where like she's not in there to win, she's in there to give everyone a great show. She's in there to wow the audience and impress people and kind of get herself over. So really, then it comes down to me to Stephanie, Zaria, and Ren, and I think I'm fuck it, I'm picking Ren to win. I really because that image at the end of NXT this week with all four of the other women fighting each other in the middle of the ring and Ren just being the smart one and taking out Roxanne on the outside and then holding the title over her. I feel like they're already building to their singles match right now. Stephanie and Zarya already earned their title shots, as far as I'm concerned, by pinning Roxanne. Julia already had hers. And Soul, I don't think, is really necessarily going to need a shot at Roxanne anytime soon. If she gets one, it's going to be further down the line. I'm picking Ren to win, man.
Hey, so is that all you wanted to say? Because I'm about to go here, so I don't want to
Go.
like
Just
step on your
go. Yeah,
toes.
just go.
Okay. So first of all, I want to give big praise to Roxanne because I feel like she's kind of the unsung hero outside of just how loaded this match is for why it's so compelling because she's been such a credible champion, but also such a vulnerable champion. She's walked that line perfectly.
Yeah.
I also have to give her credit because I want to remember this too for year-end awards because I'm definitely considering Roxanne for something. She is so fucking selfless in the people she'll get over, whether it's the hail, she gave Jada that viral moment with the slap, and out of all the women, who does she give the rub to before deadline? Fucking Ren. I love that. I fucking love that. The woman that, like, when you're seeing Julia and Steph and Zarya all being fucking hosses and Soul, who I feel like is credible enough because the Soul Snatcher and people really like her. Who needed the rub most? Ren. Who gives it to her? Roxanne. So I just had to give Roxanne her flowers there before I really get into this. I I want to join you so fucking bad because I going, circling back to the Roxanne credit that I just
I think
gave.
the beautiful thing, though, about this match is that anyone can win and none of us will complain.
You're right. You're right. I want to join you where you're at though because I look at it as if she just gave Ren that rub and that made Ren look so good. Imagine what they could do leading up to New Year's Evil together.
Yeah.
And imagine how great that would be for Ren in terms of the experience and everything else and raising her stock in NQCC. And that could
Yeah.
lead to some internal developments in that group. So, like, Ren could get so much from it. So, I'm going to put Ren off to the side. Soul, I'm going to be honest, is the one person I am counting out. Maybe that's a mistake. I've been saying that I'd love to see Soul challenge Roxanne. It is nothing against Soul Ruka at all. I think her and Roxanne could fucking cook, and I'm actually disappointed they haven't had a chance to yet. I just look at her more as like future women's North American Championship challenger.
Yeah.
Um, Zarya, no. I don't know if they want to Brock Lesnar her, but I don't think so yet for her. I think much like Soul, it
I mean,
could
again,
just
she
be
already pinned Roxanne.
she did already pin her, so she might find another way. But one of the first attacks she did was on Fatal Influence. I also kind of look at her as that again, women's North American pitcher. So then it comes down to the two women that I really want to talk about, Julia and Stephanie, who have this history. They've tagged together. They actually went after each other in the brawling segment, which I found really interesting. Um, and so yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I thought they were going to be allied with each other. Julia already had her title match, but the interesting thing is she got screwed because that was when Cora Jade returned. Stephanie pinned her in that tag match, that being Roxanne, that we talked about. She has yet to get her match. This is my thought about it. I am going Stephanie Vaquer. I want to join you on Ren so bad, but
No,
I
dude, here's
can't.
the thing. Stephanie is absolutely my second pick. She's like really close. Like if I had to if you basically told me like you heard news that they have plans to call Ren Sinclair up next week, I would 100% pick Stephanie for sure.
Yeah, so my kind of fantasy booking, my mental roadmap to stand and deliver is Stephanie loses at New Year's Evil after winning this match, and then ultimately I see Julia getting her rematch at Stand and Deliver and winning
Is
because
there
it's
not
interesting.
an NXT PLE between New Year's Evil and Stand and Deliver?
I am not sure if there is. It'd be cool if Ren got her shot there though. I think it should be a really cool like underdog kind of story leading up to that for sure. But yeah, I feel like Stephanie's going to get the New Year's Evil title shot, but ultimately, I do think Stand and Deliver is just Julia Roxanne 2 for the title, and Julia finally wins because I haven't forgotten those reports that they apparently wanted to really center a lot around Julia, but I was happy that they didn't give her the title right away. I think they wanted to see how she would do as kind of a chaser and if the crowd really get behind her. Now, what's interesting is I feel like as far as the NXT crowd goes, I feel like Stephanie's going to get more over with them than Julia personally.
Yeah, I
That's my
agree. I
personal prediction.
agree.
So if you were asking me what they should do, to be perfectly honest, I would flip it. I would give Julia another shot at New Year's Evil Maybe she loses that too. And then maybe Julia even turns heel because I'll be honest too, I don't buy Julia as a babyface. You and I watch Stardom, especially her run, very closely and very passionately. Julia's an asshole. And I say that with all the love in the world because I fucking love assholes. I don't buy her as a babyface, at least not right now. Stephanie, though, Stephanie does have that babyface aura to me. I can see her making the save for weaker
Which is
babyfaces.
just so
Yeah.
ironic because Stephanie literally wears fucking devil horns, which is also why I think it's really likely that she wins because the next show is called New Year's Evil and she wears devil horns.
Yeah. I think Stephanie 100% is winning this, but I feel like they want to make Julia the top women's babyface. But man, to hear you pick Ren, do you realize how giddy I would fucking be, bro, if NQCC sweeped again at deadline,
Yeah,
walked out with the tag titles and the women's number one contendership? Like, fuck,
I'm sure. Yeah.
yes, dude. God damn. Um, but yeah, I just can't go there. I'm gonna go Stephanie. And I think again, Roxanne Julia too at Stand and Deliver, and it's gonna have big shoes to fill because the last Stand and Deliver, remember, was Roxanne winning the title against fucking Lyra,
Yeah.
and I love that match. So good luck, ladies. But yeah, this should be a hell of a match though.
Yeah.
This is gonna be an insane 25 minutes, and if Ren some fucking how finds a way to win, we might have a late entry for me for markout moment of the year because I haven't had many this year. That's really going to be an abysmal category to try and figure out. Maybe Ren can fix that. Because yeah, that would be just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the pay per view or on the PLE? Excuse
I
me.
don't think so. No, I think that we've really thoroughly covered pretty much everything. I don't really have any additional thoughts. This was a really good uh, kind of hype for me because it's gotten me even more hype for the show. It's got me more excited for the show. I will say just trying to be as grounded as possible. Stephanie probably is winning Iron Survivor, but man, Ren just feels so good about it. Like her having that moment on Tuesday really got me up in my feelings and really wanted to see her win that
Hell yeah.
thing. But yeah,
Oh man.
that's all I've got. So if you want to take us home, feel free, my friend. And by the
Well,
way, before you do, I want to let everyone know we are not doing our week in review early tomorrow. We're gonna do it after deadline. We're gonna just do like, we're gonna like round up an hour and maybe add a half hour after that, and we'll just do it then.
Yes. I am very excited, for this show now because I was going to say to give a final number talking about it and really kind of just dipping my toe in the waters you're sailing in of Ren winning. I think I'm at an 8.5. I mean, that women's Iron Survivor and the NQCC build, man, because I'll tell you, if they didn't push NQCC so hard on the go home NXT, I probably would have been at most a 7.5. But they really got me up a whole fucking point, bro. Like, if nothing else, dude, I will say this since I'm not expecting Ren, that would be the most pleasant surprise and I'll pop. The disappointment comes if Tavion and Miles do not win the tag titles. Because I
I mean,
really
dude,
think they have an
I
honest
I
shot
feel
at it.
like you can count on that way less than. Well, I shouldn't say that because you said Ren, but I feel like you should really not be counting on that to keep your mood up because that's probably like I would say 25% chance odds to happen.
I, I don't know, man. I I feel like that's again far more like if we're just talking about the NQCC spread, that is far more likely than Ren winning, and
Well,
that's
yeah,
why I have
I would
more eggs in
agree.
that
I mean,
basket.
here's the thing though. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I gotta just stop because I really don't know. Um, you say far more likely than Ren winning, but I feel like the odds of any of them winning are not super high. Like I wouldn't put the odds of any of Tavion and Miles or Ren winning at above like 30%.
That's I think that's fair. I really can't like be like, oh no, you're crazy or whatever. And I'm like, I know my fandom is baked somewhat into this. I feel like I was grounded about the tag titles. I don't think I was like, and I'm not saying you're saying I was. I'm just thinking about my own remarks. I don't think I was flights of fancy about that at all.
Yeah.
And I didn't even pick Ren to win women's row. So I feel like this is oddly like grounded for me. I just feel like, yeah, I feel like Axiom and Frazier are imploding. Like, if they don't pull the trigger now, then I really got to wonder which team is going to do it. And then you got to wonder, is it going to be fucking Hank and Tank? Like, fuck that. I'd rather, honestly, I will say this. If you want to mend my wound, NXT, and I'm putting this out to the NXT universe, if you're not going to give it to NQCC, which would hurt me, give it to fucking OTM. Like those guys are
Please.
looking so good. Yeah, those guys are looking so good right now. Give it to them. I
I
saw them
have
challenge for the
really,
tag titles
really
once.
enjoyed them and their work lately.
Oh, they've gotten so much better. Take it from a guy that watched their one tag title matchup against was it even against fucking the Wolf Dogs? I don't know which team it was against. But they weren't like the worst I'd ever seen, but it was still a bit clunky. I feel like they've tightened their shit up, bro. They're looking really good right now. So if you're not gonna give it to NQCC, you better fucking give it to OTM. I'm really getting sick of these fucking dweebs as tag champions. I miss giving a shit about the tag division. So fix it. So hopefully they fix it tomorrow, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I want to say. I am now at like an 8.5. Did your score go up any with us talking about
I
this
think I'm
show? Or do
also
you...
at an 8.5. Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, I guess you could take us home, bud.
God, I really wish that they would just have a better challenger for Trick. I feel like Trick is just constantly dealing with mid-ass challengers for his title. Just give him a good challenger, NXT. I guess difficulty level is impossible for that. Fuck.
Bro, Trick is also getting run for that, not just because like, oh, Trick doesn't get like any good opponent, but like if he's working with high caliber people, that'll also force him to get better because we know he needs to refine stuff about his fucking game.
Yeah.
But when you're putting him with shitters and you're kind of treating him like the ring veteran and stuff like that, how is he supposed to improve? So like everybody kind of loses in that case. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. Deadline should hopefully be a fun show. Glad we're skipping the main event though, because I really don't need to see Ridge stare at the title. I mean, him staring at his hands is creepy enough. If he wins, that is. And yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. So
Yep.
you can take us home, bud.
All right, everyone. Well, we hope that you all enjoyed our preview and predictions here, and we will be reacting to to this deadline show tomorrow night when it happens. We will be also doing a weekend review tomorrow night at like probably like 11ish, maybe 11:30 at the latest, and that will be covering pretty much just main roster stuff. We might have like a very brief review of Deadline while we do that, but other than that, that's pretty much it as far as what our week's going to look like. We are going to have some Money Gold coming up next week, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm sure we'll be posting our stuff in the Discord. Don't worry about it too much. And then, other than that, we hope that you enjoyed. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to get notified when we go live, and let us know what you guys think is going to happen when Deadline happens tomorrow night. And uh, also, remember to follow us now on Blue Sky and on Twitch. And we will see you all tomorrow night for the show. We hope you're looking forward to it. And you've got to remember, of course, to stay tuned.